Hello, this is Mark Serwotka, the General Secretary of PCS, and I'm sending this short message of solidarity to every trade unionist who's on strike today and every worker who's attending rallies, marches and evening meetings that have been arranged by the TUC. We have one of the most disgraceful governments in living memory. Day by day they are mired in scandal, the latest being PCS members having to be part of a team that pointed out that Nadeem Zahawi, who was our Chancellor, did not pay his taxes. This government treats working people with contempt. On the day that food inflation was recorded at 16%, and for most working people inflation is between 10 and 13%, the government thinks it can get away with its usual strategy of forcing the people with the least to pay the biggest price for problems that the government created. But today represents a day of hundreds of thousands of workers saying no. And the strike action today, which hopefully you're all supporting, comes on the back of a heroic few months of working people taking industrial action. Those brave men and women in the RMT over so many days, our postal workers in the CWU, university and college union members, members of Unite, the GMB, unions up and down the country taking strike action to defend their jobs and to defend their cost of living. And many of those workers have seen stunning successes. Look at the victories we've seen on our docks and on our buses, with Unite members being prepared to stand up and take strike action. Well, today it's the turn of PCS members, who I represent, and teachers and train drivers and university lecturers. All of us have similar grievances. We're not being paid enough, our workloads are too high, our public services are being starved of the funding that they need. And our union believes all workers deserve a pay rise in line with inflation. No working man or woman should be poorer at the end of the year than they were at the start, because their pay doesn't keep pace with the cost of living. So PCS 100% supports our ASLEF members, RMT members, UCU members and NEU members who are all striking for proper pay and proper job security. And in PCS, we are fighting. We're fighting on behalf of members who've been treated worse than anyone else in the public sector. A 2% pay rise after a decade of real terms pay cuts that means now, astonishingly, in 2 government departments alone, 47,000 people in HMRC and the DWP are now on the national living wage. People who make important decisions, whether that is about immigration, whether that's about universal credit, or indeed whether that is about chasing people's tax, are being paid the national minimum wage. We're also threatened with tens of thousands of job cuts, cuts in our redundancy terms, and we're being robbed of our pensions. So our members, like members of other unions, have been fighting back. We've now had over 6 weeks of strike action, many PCS members on strike for over a month. Members in the Border Force, the Rural Payments Agency, the Driving Standards Agency, the DVLA, National Highways and the DWP. We've now announced a further wave of strikes, 20 days of action in job centres in the northwest of England, a week of strike action at the British Museum. We are also seeing strike action announced now in our ports, where we will see real disruption because we've had enough. But today marks the day where 100,000 of our members are on strike, joining those brave men and women of ASLEF, the RMT, the NEU and the UCU. So we say we must fight on. We need to ensure that the strikes next week in the health service are supported by everyone. And we need to build toward the month of March, where if this isn't resolved, we see a further attempt for all of us to strike together, showing the government that our disputes are growing, our determination is growing. Big shout out to the Fire Brigades Union, who yesterday announced a marvellous ballot result and will soon be taking strike action if their employers don't give them a decent pay. So thanks for coming today. Thanks for supporting our picket lines. Let's support the picket lines next week and every other week. Let's march together, let's take action together, and let's stand determined to say all working men and women deserve a decent pay rise, job security, and to be treated with dignity. Solidarity.